Honda's electric journey so far has been strange. Things started with the Honda E. It was a tiny electric car that looked cool and was great to drive, but had a terrible electric range and was very expensive. Then we had the oddly named Honda ENY1, which had more mainstream appeal than the Honda E, but didn't really stand out from its very strong competitors. But now it looks like the Japanese manufacturer is getting serious. 7 all-new fully electric cars are on the way, and today we're seeing arguably the most important. So this is the Honda Zero SUV, and as you probably guessed, it's a fully electric SUV from Honda, and this will sit in the same very competitive class of car as things like the Kia EV6, the Hyundai Ioniq 5, and the Tesla Model Y. There is also a Honda Zero Saloon, and if you're wondering about the zero in the names, that is a reference to these cars being referred to as part of the Zero series from Honda. And the Japanese manufacturer says that's a reference to the fact that this latest generation of its electric cars is starting from scratch. This hasn't just been built on the fuel-powered CR-V platform or anything like that. This is entirely all new, along with all these other fully electric cars that we're going to see as well. So this does seem like a proper new beginning for Honda and its fully electric cars. But what does this Zero SUV offer? Well, we should first point out that this technically is a prototype, and the full production-ready version of this car is expected to be unveiled at some point next year. But we have been told that this is fairly representative of what the final version of the car will look like, certainly in terms of the dimensions that you see here, and lots of elements of the styling will also be carried over. We've been told that on the outside, this is 80% of what will feature on the final version of this car that you'll actually be able to buy. And if lots of these styling features are carried over to the final version of the car, then it will certainly be one of the more striking electric SUVs on the road. Perhaps what stands out most about this Zero SUV is actually just the shape of the thing. It's apparently been designed to maximize interior space, as lots of electric cars are. And to that end, you've got quite an upright windscreen. You've also got a more MPV-esque rear section at the back here, including this squared off tailgate. And is anyone else getting hints of the Fiat multipler here? Or is that just me? Anyway, will this design deliver a very practical car? Well, nothing has been confirmed in terms of official boot capacity figures, but we have been told that lots of what you see here is very representative of what you'll get in the final production version of this car. And it does seem pretty promising. So you've got quite a big open space here with 2 compartments at the front either side. You'll also get a height adjustable boot floor. The rear seats will split fold 60-40. And you will also get these rather unusual fold down tables either side at the boot as well. So it means you can keep things hidden and tucked away in the actual compartment space that they offer. But you can also use this as a table when you're parked up. While all of this does look pretty promising, remember this is going to be in the class of car that has loads of really, really practical competitors. The Model Y, for example, has an enormous boot, and it's also got a very impressive front boot as well. And disappointingly, we have been told that this Zero SUV won't have any front storage under its bonnet. Now, we have been told that the rear seat space on offer in this car is pretty representative of what you're going to get in the final production ready version of this car. And we hope that is the case, because sat in the rear seats here, the space is absolutely vast. So you can see you've got this sunroof that's chiseled into the roof itself, and headroom is fantastic. I've got loads of leg room. This driver's seat is set up for my driving position. I'm 177 centimeters tall. Legroom is extremely generous. There's plenty of space for your feet under the seat in front. And it generally is just really open, relaxing, and spacious in these rear seats here. Now, there isn't a completely flat floor, but there isn't much to complain about in these rear seats from what we can see so far. Apart from the fact that, unfortunately, this won't get Honda's magic seats. Now, in other Hondas that we've seen up to this point, most of them allow you to fold up the seat base to create this massive storage section in the rear seat area. Unfortunately, we've been told that this Zero SUV and the other fully electric cars coming from Honda won't get magic seats, which is a shame. But still, at least the space that you have back here looks set to be very impressive indeed. Now, the interior up front, You will notice that this does have quite a concept car look to things, and we haven't been told exactly what is going to be carried over into the full production version of this car. But we have been given a few pointers, like the fact that these screens you see here will be this size. So you've got a digital driver display up here and this infotainment system here. And Honda says the technology behind this has been called Asimo OS, which is a reference to Honda's famous robot. Now, we can't have a proper poke and prod on this infotainment system and draw conclusions about it, but what we can say is it's a shame that you're probably not going to have many physical controls for this infotainment system here. And you can see the climate controls are also on the screen, which is a shame because Honda actually, in lots of their other cars up to this point, have offered really good physical dials, while lots of other manufacturers have gone for a touchscreen only solution. So it does seem a shame that for this latest generation of fully electric car, it's likely you're going to have to poke and prod on the screen to adjust simple things like the temperature and the fan speed. You might also notice here, you've got this wacky yoke steering wheel, which we've seen from some other manufacturers as well, notably Tesla and Lexus. Honda hasn't confirmed if this is going to reach the production version of this car, and it's also suggested that even if it does, it will probably be something that's only available on higher trim levels, perhaps as an optional extra. So it is likely that you'll still have a proper full steering wheel on the version of this car that you can actually buy. You can also notice there are digital door mirrors up here as well. Now, we have used these in lots of other cars so far, and we've never found them to be particularly useful. But again, Honda says this hasn't been absolutely confirmed for the production version of this car. And if it is available, it will likely be on higher trim levels, perhaps as an optional extra as well. And of course, this is an early prototype. We can't draw conclusions about the materials used or the build quality in here. But this look and this layout does seem pretty swish, and like the rear seats, it is very, very spacious up front as well. And what do we know about the batteries that will be available with this Zero SUV? Well, not much has been confirmed, but we have been told that they will be NMC units rather than LFP, and Honda says they're apparently 8mm thinner than battery packs that you'll find in other rivals of this car as well. And apparently it's set to be available with 80 to 90 kilowatt hours of capacity, but there will also be some versions that offer around 100 kilowatt hours. And Honda says it expects this car to offer a fully electric range of more than 300 miles, which is what's on offer from many of the rivals that this will be up against. As for the charging speeds, again, we don't have any official figures, but Honda says, like the range on offer, it should be competitive with other electric SUVs out there. But it is expected this will be built on 400 volt electrical architecture rather than 800 volt electrical architecture. So it is unlikely that this will be able to offer the super fast charging speeds that you can get from something like a Kia EV6 with its 800 volt architecture, but this will still match plenty of other rivals when it comes to charging speed. And what about the performance that's going to be on offer from the Zero SUV? Well, it's expected you'll be able to get this car with one electric motor or two electric motors. And if you go for a single motor version, then you will have an electric motor on the rear axle, offering around 240 brake horsepower. And then the dual motor versions, which will get an extra electric motor on the front axle, making it four-wheel drive, will offer more performance and power than the entry-level version, of course. And what about a Type R version of the Zero SUV? Well, as you can imagine on this event, nothing is being confirmed or denied by Honda, but it's not something that's been categorically ruled out. What you will definitely get with the Zero SUV is some semi-autonomous driving features that will allow the driver to take their hands off the wheel in certain situations. But it will depend on whether local laws actually allow that to happen. It's likely to come with plenty of other safety features as well, and while testing is still some way off, Honda is, of course, hoping for the maximum 5-star result from safety experts Euro NCAP. It's not expected that this new wave of electric cars will also bring an overhaul of Honda's manufacturer warranty, so for the production version of this, you can expect Honda's standard 3-year or 90,000 mile cover, with the electric bits covered by a separate 8-year warranty. And as for what's coming next, a larger 7-seater is earmarked for 2027, and 2 further SUVs, described as compact and small, will follow that. This SUV will be the first of the Zero series models to hit the road, and it's likely we'll first see this on the road late in 2026 in America, which is where this car is going to be built. It will then make its way to Europe and Japan sometime after that. So expect to see this over here sometime in 2027, perhaps. In terms of pricing, we haven't been told anything yet, but Honda says this will be competitive compared to the cars that it's up against in the segment. And also, this will not be called the Honda Zero SUV. The saloon version also won't be called Honda Zero Saloon, but the exact names of these cars haven't been released yet, and it's something that's still being decided by Honda. So that is everything we know so far about the Honda Zero SUV. If you've enjoyed this video and you want to see another one, then click up there and make sure you subscribe to our channel as well. And if you want to find out much more about this car and every other new and used car around, click on that link to go to whatcar.com.